It flows.
And Nikki is very on top of everything, being click, 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 and everything organized.
Yep.
She does a hell of a job.
She does. And when I was working there a couple years ago announcing, that was one thing that I appreciated was, the format is there, the lineups are there, and they're rolling on, and here comes the next race.
You know what to expect.
Yep.
It's routine. It becomes the way it is and the way it should be.
And I think that, if you haven't been to Sunset, anybody as a race fan, if you have not been to Sunset, get out there. Get out there, sit in the stands and watch this, because it's not like anything you see in the Northwest.
How do you compare it to our other two tracks? I mean, what would you...
You can't. It's smaller than Grove.
Okay.
It's not banked as much. It's
not banked as much as Grove or Willamette.
No,
it's pretty flat then.
Yeah.
It's like probably got, 15, 20 degrees in the corners?
No. Not Willamette's only 12. Cottage Grove's probably 20.
Yeah, I don't know about 20.
I bet it's pretty damn close to 20.
Anyway, so Banks is pretty flat.
Yeah. I mean, it's not flat, but it's got some bank, but it's not like,
it's flat in comparison.
I would say that Banks, if you were to take a high school track and maybe put 10, 15 yards of dirt on it, that's Banks.
Yeah.
It's tight.
But all that dirt is right on the inside ring, and you're racing inside of the track. That's how narrow and how short Banks
but
is.
But the thing that makes it so unique, too, is that it's got that really, really red clay.
Oh,
yeah.
And
it's
the
like
way
the Grove clay.
Yeah. It's even redder.
It's redder.
But in the way that stuff changes throughout the racing program, I mean, you'll see that track, especially when we went to the 100-lapper, when I was calling it down there, the topless 100,
right
down there for the modified race. You'll see that track start off pretty good condition. It's got some tack in it. It's got a couple lines you can use. And about halfway through, that place is so slick. I mean, you can hear them buzzing the tires. You guys are working the throttles. And then by the end of the race, it's got so much rubber on it. These guys were back like it was, just watered and hooked up. And, I mean, they're driving it. It's fun to watch. Kind of like the old school Willamette days. Remember when Willamette used to change like that in the 100-lappers? Used to be racetracks?
Big time.
That's kind of a weekly thing at Sunset.
Awesome.
But it's cool. But was it the
we'll have to get up
the
there
modified was Campos that got – didn't he get the win down there?
Yeah. Night one. They ran a 2-day show as well.
Right.
Yeah, Lightning picked up the W on night one in the modifieds. Chris West in the street stocks.
Right.
The
7 car.
That's a good name.
He's
right
fast.
There.
He's fast.
Dwarf cars were there.
Obviously.
Any idea who won?
I'm going to say Martinez.
I think you're going to be right.
It's either him or the other guy.
The other guy.
You know who the other guy is?
Yep.
Youngren. Shane Youngren. Those two dudes, when it comes to dwarf cars, I think they're probably the fastest in our area. I mean, they
absolutely
insane. So when you say dwarf car feature winner at Sunset, it's one of those two names I usually say first.
Yeah.
Again, not surprising.
Yeah, I didn't even see a flip a coin this time.
Nope.
So I guess next time you're going to say Youngren.
I don't know. We'll see what happens. But who else was there? I know they had went to micros there at Sunset.
They had 3 classes of micros.
Well, the way you guys describe that track, it sounds like a perfect track for dwarfs and micros.
It absolutely is.
It sounds awesome for them.
Oh man, the dwarf cars at Sunset are. It's incredible to watch those guys.
I bet it is.
Because those cars, I mean, you stand.
So now that's it. That's a quarter-mile track.
Yeah,
small quarter.
Quarter. Okay, perfect for those guys.
It is awesome. Those cars are so friggin' fast at that track. To see those, I mean, you see them at Willamette, and speed is a relative thing. So you put dwarf cars on a big track, and they come booking by you. Okay, they're faster in front of you, but then they're going through the corners, and they're going down the backstretch. It just big tracks. It's kind of boring because it's just such a big track with a little car. Now you put them on a track like Sunset, and it's just like your heart rate goes up.
Right.
I mean, it is, like you said, it's the perfect size, and these guys get down.
Yeah.
I mean, when you get guys like, Guy Tao Sr. and Jr., and you get Martinez, and you get Youngren, and you get those guys.
Danny Altum.
Right, Chrisman out of Albany down there, heads up there. You get those guys battling through traffic and racing, and it is awesome.
Yeah, it sounds like they put on a good show.
It is. It's those are fun cars to watch there.
And you look at the micros that all came down. Chance Crum picked up the open win.
Right.
Dakota Drake in the restricted.
Okay.
Jake Helsel in the 1200.
Who?
1200 cc's.
Jake Helsel. Am I saying that right?
Is it Kessel?
No, Helsel.
Okay.
Helsel.
1200 cc's in a micro. That's bigger than what's in those dwarf cars. That's bigger than what's in the dwarf cars.
What do the dwarfs run?
I think they're running 1100s, aren't they?
Something like that.
Pretty
I believe.
positive they're allowed 11.
Really?
Yeah. Now I watched a decade ago, maybe more. We were down at Manzanita before it was closed, and they were running 1200 micros.
That was night 2. Excuse me.
Micros with 1200 cc engines on the half mile.
Woohoo!
And you want to talk about speed? It was nuts.
Yeah, I bet.
And that was like the first. I'd seen micros, on TV. I'd seen them on, the internet, whatever. But that was my first time I saw micros was at Manzanita, and they were the 1200s on the big half mile. And I swear those guys were doing 125 miles an hour. If not better. I mean, it was just nuts.
Nice.
Well, then you look at night 1.
Okay.
Aaron Ellis
No surprise.
picked up the modified
Yeah,
win.
we've talked about him all year.
Arnie Case,
No surprise. Always talking about
street
Case.
stock. Dwarf car time.
Martinez swept the weekend.
Hey, the guy's got it figured out up there.
He does. He got to figure it out everywhere. Lane Taylor
In
in the micro restricted. Now that is one of the young guys we've talked about. We've watched him come up through the micro sprints, or not the micro sprint, but the cage carts. And this kid, I mean, it doesn't matter what he gets into. It's hammer down and it's go time, baby. I mean, he's fast. He is fast. So no surprise to see Lane Taylor at the top of the list there.
Yeah, that kid's a shoe.
He is.
I want to see what happens when he gets in a big car.
Well, it won't take that long. I mean, what is he? He's only like 12 years old now, isn't he? At best.
Something like
He's
that.
young.
Yeah. He's a young
Derek
kid.
Torkelson, the micro open, and Hespy in the 1200s. Fast. Very fast. So,
Man.
That sounds like they had a great weekend down there. And the footage that I saw, they had great weather, which was they needed desperately at sunset.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
They can finally turn the pumps off.
Yeah. And watching I saw, I don't know, about 8 or 10 different live feeds coming out of sunset, watching. I look for everything. I'm watching the track. I'm watching the cars. I'm watching, the grandstands. They had a pretty good crowd.
From your couch.
I was in the car.
Were you driving?
Yes.
Probably.
Man.
I was not. Sitting here at Jetstream
All
watching racing videos.
right. Okay.
Yeah. See, you can even see in this picture from Victory Lane of Ryan Martinez. Look at that track.
Yeah. I mean, it's you can
Rubbered
see.
up, dry slick. And you can see the banking in it, Warren, how little banking there is on the front stretch.
I understand flat. Yeah.
You've got to be smooth there. That's one place.
Absolutely.
If you're not smooth, that's a place that isn't real forgiving.
It takes a special set of kahunas to run Sunset.
It's a different track. Now,
Takes
I'll tell
what?
you, I watched the. I was there a couple years ago for the Doug Walters Memorial Race, and good strong field of late models, and Doug Walters, running his honor.
I knew Doug. Yeah.
Right, yeah. And you knew him a long time.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. Well, his son,
Greg.
had come into that race, and he'd won 6 of 6. It was the 7th edition of that race. No one else had won it.
Wow.
And watched the cars line up and roll out on the field, and it wasn't exactly to his benefit where Walter started that race. And I thought, I don't know. He's got 67 laps to work with, but again, those cars are so big. That track is so little. And sure enough, if it wasn't in the last 4 or 5 laps, he drove up to the front and passed to the lead.
Is that right?
Parked it in Victory Lane for the 7th year in a row. That is a fun race to watch there.
Yeah.
But and they've got the Topless 100, and they've got some awesome shows up at Sunset.
Yeah, we need to get up there.
We will. We'll get something worked out.
I gotta say something here real quick while it's on my mind, because you mentioned cage carts, and I saw on Facebook where Brody Sim got banged up, and I just want to give a shout out.
I didn't see this.
Well, maybe our technical guy could bring that up on. I believe it's on.
Brody, all right? What happened?
Ed Sims. He got in a wreck, and I believe he flipped his cart, and he's got some bone splinters.
Okay.
He's got a broken arm. His arm's in a cast, and
there it is.
There it is, right there. Yeah. So big shout out to Brody Sim. He's one heck of a tough kid.
Several bone chips in his elbow, fracture in his arm. Wow.
So I had that on my mind. I wanted to say something on the show, and because Brody's
we
a
want to
heck of a
wish him.
good
Yeah,
kid.
he's a great kid.
He is.
We want to wish him the best. Quick
Absolutely.
recovery, and hopefully he can get back in the car soon, because that kid just loves to race.
He does. He'll race anything.
He will.
You put a motor on a toilet and he'd race it.
Can't argue with you.
Yeah, I would too.
He will. Yeah. So that was down. That was a Grove, right?
No.
Yes.
Was it at Cottage Grove?
It was.
Yes.
It was Sunday then.
They have redone their kart track down there. They've actually made it bigger, and from what I've heard, everybody seems to like that, what they did to that track. Because it was pretty tiny before.
So they run karts down there on Sunday? Is that what you're telling me? Oh, it must have been a week ago.
It had to be. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, it must have been because I'm like, that was before this weekend in my head.
I'm sorry, I'm just sitting here reading all the...
No, I'm just sitting here jabbering.
I'm sitting here reading the Swear Trucking chat line. And
because my memory is so wonderful.
That was on the 19th.
Okay, so that was a week ago.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
Well, best wishes for Brody.
Absolutely, and he's got a bright blue cast to hang out in.
Well, yeah, and that kid, I mean, he's
been through some crap that he always comes out of it smiling.
Yep, absolutely. And the best part is he'll be back in a race car again real soon.
You won't keep him out of a car.
Oh, see the banner in the back? He's at Dornbecker.
Yep.
Yeah, you can't keep him out.
You could cut that kid's leg off and he'll be back.
Yeah.
It's just what he does. So
what are you doing over there, Corey?
Oh, I'm just all kinds of stuff going on over here.
Dude, man, it's blowing up.
It is.
Right on. That's good.
That's what what we're here for.
Absolutely.
What was that?
Oh, whoa.
It's literally blowing up. You plugged in a device to the audio jack. Joel, how dare you?
What are you doing?
Hey, it's blowing up over here. We got to stay entertained and stay busy. But, we've got so much good racing coming up now.
Oh, man, we're going to have so much to talk about.
I'll tell you what, though.
And
speaking of good racing,
we haven't.
I've got one tidbit I forgot to share with you guys. We're still working on the payout finalization for the Rick Barnes Memorial Race on the 29th of July.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
We're still finalizing it. I can tell you this much. It's an increased payout for all the classes.
Okay.
Every payout
for all the classes, not
all
just
the classes,
modifieds, but all the classes.
Modifieds,
all the way
super
across
sports, street stocks, and Hornets.
Okay.
Increased payout across the board.
Very cool.
Every payout.
As it should be.
Every payout from the A main will end in a 3 in honor of Rick.
Very cool.
Wow.
That's cool. I like it. Now,
what I can tell you also, we're going to be paying Trophy Dash winners a little extra change.
How much is extra?
More than the trophy.
IMCA modified Trophy Dash winner on the 29th of July will walk away with $83.
$83.
Super Sports, $63. Street Stocks, $43. And the Hornet Trophy Dash winner, $23.
Cool. That's cool.
There's no late models on this one.
There is no late models. It's a 4-class night, unfortunately.
Yep. But it'll be good. We'll get a lot of good racing in. We're worrying about a curfew, and it'll be good. Looking forward to that. And now I know that this weekend, Strawberry Cup, you're going to do more to honor Rick. We're going to do his memorial lap this weekend.
That is correct. So we are doing Rick's memorial lap this weekend.
So for you guys out there in the Northwest that, we're friends with Rick, you appreciated what he did, bring your car out, if for anything, the memorial lap, to honor a guy that dedicated so much of himself to that racetrack. 21 years he was there helping out.
He was a part of the furniture there, no doubt.
He was, and it'll be good to honor him. I mean, it's much deserved.
Exactly. And the other thing, too, is that we are still collecting. There are still laps for sale.
How many you got left?
13.
13 laps for sale. And what are you doing, $50 a lap?
$50 a lap.
And that's for the Rick Barnes Memorial.
Rick Barnes Memorial.
And that's part of that payout fund? Is that what that is?
Part of it's going to the payout.
Cool. Well, you guys want to get on board with that and help support a great race and, honor the memory of a good guy? 13 laps available. You can get a hold of Joel here at Moxie Media. You can get a hold of Dittman, Leah Dittman.
Leah Katie. Justin Katie, any of those guys. People changing their names, it's just a pain in the
I don't understand it.
It is what it is. Get a hold of us. We'll get you guys taken care of. We got 13 laps still available for that race. It is what we're doing is
that a 50-lap race?
I haven't found out exactly how many laps we're doing.
Okay.
I've heard that it's going to be an increased lap count. I don't know.
Well, that's why I was asking, because I heard, and I don't know if it's 50 laps or not.
I don't know if it's going to be, because normally we run 30 laps in an IMCA race. I don't know if we're going to do 33, 40, 43, 50, 100. Who knows? I mean, it's a four class night.
We'll have the time. So
you know what? We might do a 200 lapper.
Let's do it. Pit stops.